Hello, this is Algebra D, page 2, questions 5 through 8. For question 5, we're asked to simplify the radical expression. You are not allowed to leave any radicals in the denominator. It's considered that the expression is not rationalized. So in order to rationalize the denominator, we have to multiply by what's called the conjugate of the denominator. The conjugate is going to be the same terms, but instead of a plus sign, we have to do the opposite sign. So we're going to use a minus sign. And what you multiply the bottom by, you always have to multiply the top. That's just basic rules of multiplication. And it allows it to keep the same sort of numbers. So we're going to start by distributing on top 2 square root of 3 times 3. You're just going to multiply 2 times 3 is 6. So you have 6 the square root of 3. Then you're going to multiply this 2 square root of 3 by the square root of 2. That's going to give you a square root of 6. So you're just going to multiply the insides of those square roots. That's what the top's going to look like. And then the denominator, the reason why we multiply by the conjugate is what's going to happen is when we FOIL these, the middle terms are going to cancel out, so you're not going to be left with any square roots. So going back to our FOILing, we're going to have the first 3 times 3 is 9. The outer, so the ones on the outside, 3 times the negative square root of 2 is going to be minus 3 square root of 2. The inner, it's going to be the positive 3 square root of 2. And then the last, square root of 2 times square root of 2, will be the square root of 4, which is 2. Those square root signs are going to cancel each other out, and you have a minus sign in front. Extend that. What you should see happens, these are going to cancel each other out. So you're going to be left with 6 square root of 3 minus 2 square root of 6 all over 9 minus 2. And 9 minus 2 is 7. So you're left with 6 square root of 3 minus 2 square root of 6. This will be your final answer. Now your bottom no longer has a radical, so it's all rationalized. So looking at the denominator in this one, it looks like, again, we have to multiply by the conjugate, except this really isn't simplified. We can actually figure out what the square root of 2 is, or sorry, the square root of 4 is. The square root of 4 is 2, so we're going to be left with 2 minus 2, which is 0. And we can never divide by 0, so this is called an undefined expression. And that's all we have to do. Here we're going to graph the square root function. The square root function looks like a point on the x-axis, and it'll kind of swivel up a bit. In order to figure out where that point is, we're going to take the inside and set it equal to 0. Solve for x. X equals -1, so there's a point at -1. If we want to find other points on there, we can plug in some other values for x. I would choose ones that will give you a perfect square root, so perfect squares. So I'm going to plug in 3 because 3 plus 1 is 4. And the square root of 4 equals 2. So I have the point 3, 2. My next perfect square is 9. So if I plug in 8, 8 plus 1 is the square root of 9, which will give me 3. So when x is equal to 8, which would be kind of off here, it'd be up to 3. So I'm going to follow this around. That's going to be my graph for question 7. We're going to do question 8 the same way. Figure out where our point is on the x-axis, set that equal to 0. Add 3 to both sides. X equals 3, so our point is at x equals 3. then we could try plugging in other numbers, but we would need, our next perfect square would be the square root of 4, so we would need to plug in 7. So 7 minus 3 is the square root of 4, which equals 2. So just off here, we would have 7 and be at the square, and we have it at 2. So it's going to loop off there. And that is your graph of that function. Please switch to the Algebra D page 3 notes for further help.